good, the bad, and the odd. It can only get better.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd. We host Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello there.
Right, this is a free pick, my free pick, and I've gone with something that's actually in the cinemas as we talk, and that is the Odyssey from, well, this year, 2026. Still in the cinemas as we're talking. Right, so we went to see this at the cinema, not together,
Yeah.
separately, but we've both got around to seeing it. Let's start very high level. What do you think of it?
I really, really enjoyed it. I have some problems, but they're more like nitpicky stuff that I liked from the original story that weren't in the film.
Okay. Yeah, there
So
were,
yeah, all my
yes.
problems are that sort of thing.
Oh wow,
'Cause
that's proper nitty.
yeah,
Because I also felt some of the events were in a different order from, but I haven't. Don't. It's been
yeah,
ages since I've even skimmed the Odyssey, so I'm not sure.
mm,
My feeling was it was pretty decent. I'm not raving about it or anything, but I quite enjoyed it. Really, honestly, the way I described it in my not Facebook, in my letterbox review was it's a grimmer, longer version of Jason and the Argonauts. That's what I put.
yeah,
Because it's hitting the same beats, entirely different tone, but hitting the
mm,
same beats. Um,
yeah,
I mean, yeah. So I had some problems with one particular issue, and I just want to run this by you because it might have been the cinema I was sitting in. The sound was really loud in
yeah. It
places.
was just a very loud film.
Yeah, I had to stick my fingers in the ears about 3 or 4 times just to feel comfortable. Honestly, it was so, and I wasn't like close to the speakers. I was right in the like back that bang right in the middle of the auditorium, and a fairly big auditorium too. And it was so loud. But yeah, that was one issue I had with it. Really,
Oh, that sucks.
it was uncomfortably loud. It was like,
Yeah.
this is hurting.
Well,
Uh,
okay. I feel in some places that's what it's supposed to be like.
right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I've been to football matches that are quieter than this, honestly.
mm,
Okay, all right. Okay, so I mean, Odysseus played by Matt Damon,
mm,
Anne Hathaway's Penelope, Tom Holland's for
Telemachus.
Telemachus. We
Yeah.
also got Robin Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Samantha Morton, Zendaya, Charlize Theron, Elliot Page, Mia Goth turns up at one point, and what's his name? John.
She does? What?
Yeah, she was the maid. Um, Blink and miss her kind of. Well, no, she's in it a
Okay.
little more than that, but she is definitely. I thought, oh, blimey, Mia Goth's in it. John Leguizamo is quite a significant role as well. John Bernthal, I thought was really good in this too, in his
Yeah.
smallest role. Um, so yeah, all right. Let's have sort of over.
Mm.
Should we get into the nitpicking first, or should we go through the story and then do the nit?
Well, the Odyssey's such an ancient story. Everyone probably has a rough mental outline of how it's supposed to go. So,
Yeah. It
yeah.
does.
Look,
It was all right. Let's get into the.
yeah.
It's non-linear, right? So that for me means
Yes.
sometimes one of the things I'll get stuff in the wrong order, and I'm not averse to that, and it makes sense
Yeah.
because a major part of the Odyssey is Odysseus not remembering what happened. It's slowly coming back to him.
In this version.
Oh, is that not in the original? I thought he was a Lotus
So
Eater.
no, so the Lotus Sea is one of the first islands that they bump into, but that's it, just it. It's just an
Oh,
island that they
okay.
bump into.
And they avoid
Yeah.
mostly.
Well, they go there, and it's kind
Oh,
of
that's
like,
right. He's held
what do you
hostage,
do?
isn't he? He's
Yeah.
not forget. Okay, so they've changed the story to
Yeah.
make it more like he can't remember what he's supposed to be
Yeah, they
doing.
folded
He's trying to
the
put it.
Lotus Eaters. For everyone that knows the story, they folded the Lotus Eating into the Calypso
Yeah,
island
where she
because
imprisons him, right? Is that
yeah, in
right?
in the original myth, it's an imprisonment. In this, it's more like he's sort of self-imprisoning there.
Because he's
Like
eating the
he's
lotuses.
eating the lotuses to forget the horror of what he's done,
But it's
and
also
then
to heal him. Well, she says
it's
it
giving
was
him
to heal
time
you
to
first.
like
But
get
then I could later stop. Yeah, okay, right. I can see a big problem then because I misremembered that. I thought
yeah.
the last bit of it was him. I also was aware. I'm sure the Cersei stuff comes It doesn't come in this bit, but it sounds like the whole thing's in a odd order.
Yeah, so
Um,
the actual story is also told in flashback, but it's
mm,
he basically stops at an island after Calypso, but before he gets home, and that's where he's telling the story about what happened.
yes,
Telemachus is also like having his own story of looking for him in the original, which
yeah.
does happen in this. But yeah, it's not as presented in the film. So if you went and read the original texts, it's going to be a little different.
Yeah, and now thinking about this, it's kind of amazing no one's actually made a film before of the
They
Odyssey.
they
What
have quite a few times.
have they? I
Yeah.
wasn't aware of any of those. What, like when? Do you know
Well, it's a lot of them. I know there is like a in the 90s there was a Odyssey film.
a film?
Mostly
Okay.
it's like taking the beats of it, like so brother wherefore art thou is an Odyssey.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So
If you want to be nitty gritty about it, the SpongeBob movie is an Odyssey. So
Odyssey. I mean, the Odyssey is transferred in English to mean a long journey where events happen, right? Like
yeah,
so
where the
2001: A
simple
Space
survive.
Odyssey and things like
Yeah,
that. Even though it's Odysseus's name, right?
yeah,
Um, so let's. All right, I'll do my best here.
yeah.
Basically, we do see the Palace of Ithaca. Penelope is waiting for Odysseus to come back, and it's been 10 years since the end of the Trojan War.
Mm.
And because of what they call Zeus's law, now I don't know how much of this is a contract of the movie or if it's a
Xenia,
real,
it's a real thing.
it's a real thing, which
Yeah,
means they can't turn away travelers because one of them may be, one or more of them may be a god. You always
yeah.
treat strangers with respect because it might be a god, but it does mean she has to put up with 108 suitors carousing at her palace every night. It feels like, or
Mm,
which means she's got to feed them and all of this.
yeah.
And she's they're basically sort of saying you need
You
to
need to
make a
pick a
choice.
suitor. So
And now they can't make that demand, but there is in the dialogue a bit of things saying the elders have said I've got to make a choice at this point. Um, and there's some quite major things in the original song, I think, which are very minor plot in one line of dialogue. Kind of, for example, she says, I'm weaving the shroud of my father-in-law, I think it is.
yeah,
But she's secretly unpicking it each night, so there's very little progress. And
yeah,
that's kind of just handled in a little bit of dialogue, right? Um,
yeah. They kind of brush it off, but it is
it's
one of the
quite
more inventive
significant.
things. Yeah,
Yeah, it's quite significant. Telemachus, the son of Odysseus
yeah,
and Penelope, is also hanging around, and they're kind of antagonizing. The
yeah.
suitors
They're
are
antagonizing
antagonizing
him
him.
as well as any of the palace staff, really,
Yeah,
such as John Leguizamo's character,
yeah.
Eumaeus.
Eumaeus. I think John Leguizamo is really good. He's kind of the heart of the film, really.
Yeah,
One of the little problems I have with the film is, apart from the characters we just talked about, I don't really. I don't. We didn't get any insight, or I didn't care about any of. I didn't
no,
care about any of Odysseus's men, for example, except for
yes, they,
possibly Tynan, and there's a reason for that because that
yeah. Silence
kind of
quite
a significant
important.
character.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, it was like, don't really care.
Mm.
But thinking back on it, I felt the same way with like if you think of like Jason the Argonauts. Apart from
Yeah,
Hercules, who stands
yeah.
out,
They
right?
introduce the swimmer, the discus thrower. None of them matter,
Yeah,
but yeah,
Hercules is the only one I really remember from that movie,
yeah,
who stands out for me. Um, so yes, okay, so there is that. She's putting up with these horrible men.
yeah,
We also get little flashes of insight, and they come throughout the film. And it's hard to sort of place them in a timeline for me, thinking back on it. But essentially, for example, Odysseus is famously is the only one who can string a certain powerful bow because
yeah,
it's so tough. It's
yeah.
so hard to bend. And also, he seems even when he's hunting, he always gives the animals a chance. He plucks the bow so it makes a musical noise before
Mm,
he fires on it to give the animals. And he says, "Well, you need someone to give someone a chance." And I
yeah,
think it's Eumaeus. This is hunting, not
yeah,
war, stuff like that.
yeah,
We also see that there's a really old dog hanging around with Eumaeus, who
Yes,
is
Argus.
okay, which is picked as a pup by Odysseus as a hunting dog, and we see him as a young dog hunting with Odysseus. He's still waiting for his master, and Eumaeus says, "I've never known a dog live for 20 years. You're just waiting for him." And he says things like, "Your master, you might have outlived your master," because no one knows if Odysseus is alive.
Yeah, literally, no one's heard about him since the end. Since everyone left Troy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, indeed. There's another character that is kind of mentioned. It's kind of got an interesting name, but again, there was so little given to him to do. It was called Mentor. He was the one who looked after Telemachus. Great name. Probably where that word
the
came
origin
from.
of the word, yeah.
But as a character, he didn't have anything.
Yeah, he was basically
anything.
just there as like a mentor to Tom Holland's character, who was continuously just overlooked by the story.
Yeah. So the essential story is we do see the end of the Siege of Troy. We see the beginning elements of it fairly early in the film, but it takes the whole film to get to the conclusion about what happens when they overrun Troy, right? And we start with, in terms of that part, we start with horsemen riding along a beach with their distinctive white sort of helmets. Made me think of Zardos, this bit, weirdly.
Yeah, kind of.
Because the mask looked a bit like Zardos. I wonder if Zardos was modelled on the Trojan helmet. I was wondering, actually.
Possibly. I know there's been a lot of like hubbub about the quote unquote accuracy of these.
What a load of nonsense that is.
Yeah.
It's a movie. Yeah, because Elon Musk said he can create an AI realistic version of the story. Do you think realistic version of a story?
Oh no! It gets stupider. They're saying like, historically accurate.
Yes,
it's a myth.
It's a myth, you wally. Okay. Anyway, let's not talk about that. Sorry, I shouldn't have even introduced. But they've left one. Basically, they've left a. What they describe as a gift for Athena, an offering to the temple of Athena in the form of a big
massive
carved wooden horse statue, washed up in the beach. But it's kind of getting washed with the tide as well.
Yeah.
And they've left Tynan, I think that's how you say it.
Sinan.
Yeah. Behind, who was left there to tell them it was a gift for Athena.
Yeah.
And we see Tynan run up. This is Elliot Page playing this. Run up and say, no, try to stop the horsemen, but they just throw. Is it arrows or spears?
Yeah, they huck spears at him, but they also shoot him with an arrow.
But they give him a chance to talk. Where he says, "This is it. We've gone. They've gone, but they left this as a gift for Athena." As he kind of dies, right?
Yeah.
So the Trojans, look, there's no point being coy. Inside this wooden house is a lot of warriors. Not all of them.
It's about 30 guys, from the looks
squeezed
of it.
in. And one even has a panic attack, which is kind of tense.
They do say, like, they had to sit in there for days as the tides would slowly come in, because it's not a sealed container.
No.
It's like it's kind
wooden.
of ribbed. So it's like the water just comes in and they start drowning.
Some of them start drowning.
They have to try and pass down reeds so that they can still breathe.
Yeah.
But sometimes that doesn't work, and also they're piercing. They do describe it as like sitting in our piss and shit.
Yes. There's also a thread running through the movie where one of the things is the people of Greece are terrified of some people they call people from the sea, who are known to not care about Zeus's law. There's no respect for hosts and
it's a bit of a weird one because they drop it really kind of clunkily early on.
Yes. There's a number of problems with the film in the way some of the exposition is a bit. I don't know if it's elements of telling rather than showing. I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't quite. It's clunky. It could be smoother.
Yeah.
So there is that also going on. So essentially, we do see the men in the wooden horse. We see the Trojans,
Mm,
hundreds of slaves, I think, dragging out on the beach. But we also see the men inside struggling and trying to keep quiet.
yeah.
So that's all going on, and that takes the whole film. But essentially, what we find out is Odysseus is one of the generals of the. Is he a
King
king or emperor?
Agamemnon.
It's Agamemnon.
Yeah.
Agamemnon, a name that resonates through history. Who
Yeah.
is sieging Troy for the for the given reason they've kidnapped the wife of Menelaus.
Mm,
However, the real reason, as revealed in the film, is he wants the trade routes that Troy controls.
yeah.
He wants an excuse to fight Troy.
Yeah.
However, Troy has famously impenetrable walls, and they lay siege for 10 years.
Mm,
So that's 10 years of the Odyssey, them on a beach.
yeah.
How they survived this long on a open beach with warfare, I guess Troy never came out of there. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
mean,
I
if
don't
you
know.
can turtle up, if I remember the Iliad properly, there are basically behind Troy a lot of farms,
Oh,
and
okay.
they would routinely get raided and rebuilt over the course of the war. So
Okay.
I
Okay.
guess that's how both sides are maintaining themselves. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So I believe also is Menelaus also in the horse with.
yes,
So Odysseus is the one who comes up with his plan.
yeah.
Um,
Odysseus is the one that comes up with it, and it's his discussion about doing it. It already sets up that he thinks it's a skeevy thing to do. Like
well,
this
he
is a
thinks
bad thing to do.
he's broken Zeus's law by doing this, and therefore he may be cursed. Is the
Yeah,
or is cursed, in fact.
yeah,
Once we do see the after. We don't see what happens, but we do in later on in the film. But they've won.
yeah,
But we also see Odysseus is sometimes visited by, he thinks, Athena, played by
yeah,
Zendaya, who sometimes gives him counsel, right? But
yeah,
she then just disappears. I thought Zendaya was pretty good in this. Not
yeah.
much to do.
Her like 5 minutes of screen time was good.
Yeah, her presence was good. She was striking.
Mm.
And I usually don't like her, but I have liked her in this and June. Actually, I think she's
Okay.
quite good. Don't like
Yeah,
how her character's gone in June, but I thought she was good as that character, right?
yeah,
So basically, Agamemnon and Menelaus decide they want to go back, and they're all following a route. But Odysseus's boats, he decides he's going to go a different way. But he says,
yeah,
they'll all have to be fed, and they've got money, we haven't. We got to get home another way."
mm.
So they land on an island looking for food, and they see is it a sheep?
Sheep.
A sheep,
Yeah,
and I think Menelaus is about to shoot one, or one of his Odysseus's men. No, Menelaus ain't with him. What I'm talking
yeah.
about. One of
Menelaus goes
Odysseus' men is
separate.
about to shoot them, and Odysseus stops him. Where there's one shoot, there's more. Let's follow. So they
Yeah,
follow, and
and it
this
goes up
follow
into a
this shit,
cave.
go in the cave. So they all go in the cave looking around, and they see there's this weird stuff. There's cheese hanging on the wall, bags of cheese hanging on the wall, and they try
Mm.
the cheese. But then all these sheep start coming in, and it's a cyclops.
Yeah,
Um, it ain't no Ray Harryhausen version of a cyclops. It's more
no
like a giant troll from I don't know.
troll. Yeah, yeah.
And its face is not your traditional just an eye in the middle. It's kind of got a weird folded face,
Yeah, it's like twisted. His nose is
twisted face, and
sideways.
and it's got one
Yeah.
eye. And this is the Cyclops Polyphemus,
Yeah.
kind of is aware there's soldiers in the cave, and indeed eats them.
Well, yeah, he becomes like a horror monster for a brief
Yeah,
time because their only illumination is a fire in the middle of the cave,
yeah.
and he
So
keeps like you just see hands come out the darkness and grab people, and then
yes,
he like looms in while he's eating a guy and just kind of looks at them.
so he's so big and powerful. He doesn't really care they're in there with the
Yeah.
sheep. He just goes to sleep, and they got to try and survive this.
Mm.
So and I think they say he eats two a night or something.
Yeah, they work out he doesn't eat much, but he's eaten 2 people a night.
Um,
And they do a run for the cave entrance, but a lot of guys get stuck behind, and
yes.
Odysseus darts back in.
Yeah, so he wants to try and save them. Some of them work out if they take back basically the Cyclops. I can't remember the order now. Does he?
So they blind the Cyclops.
Oh yeah. So basically,
They burn a
Odysseus
metal rod.
yeah, they get a burning well, is it a rod? I thought it was a block
Yeah,
of wood, but a pointy, hot thing, right? And have it
yeah,
poised over its eye, and then Odysseus makes a slash at it to wake it up. As soon as it opens its eye, they drive the thing into its eye, which
yeah,
enrages it. Um, and so they kind of run back again, but it's blind, so it still has to let its sheep out and let them back in again. So it does
yeah.
open the thing, but it holds its hand out to feel the sheep. And a lot of the
Mm,
soldiers put like bales of hay or something on their backs for
yeah,
like wool, and kind of scuttle off that way, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that was all right. It was
yeah,
kind of interesting. But again, I had to stick my fingers in the ears in
yeah.
part of
When the
this.
Cyclops
So
screams, yeah,
noisy.
that's
It
where I
wasn't.
think it was needed to be like deafeningly loud. It's just
Yeah.
like that's a horror monster that's being like horrendously injured, so it's gonna
Yeah.
be deafening.
So they managed to get away, but they could hear it shouting something. And one of the men, I couldn't quite hear this myself, but one of the men says he's calling for Poseidon.
Mm.
Um, Now in the myth, Poseidon's the father of
Yes.
Polyphemus, right?
So yeah, in the myth, the Cyclops is very open to discussion with them, and they
Yeah.
talk and drink together. But he is very clear. It's like I am going to eat you all. And
Yes.
so Odysseus, this is where one of the problems I have. The film kind of removes some of the major supernatural stuff that makes Odysseus seem smart. So, for
Yes.
example, in this part, he in the myth, he tells the Cyclops his name is Nobody, and then when he like stabs him in the when they stab him in the eye, the Cyclops runs out to the other Cyclopses on the island. And goes, I've been attacked, and they're like, who got you? He goes, nobody. They're like, okay then, and leave.
Okay. Yeah,
Uh,
we're basically told that this is smart. Apart from him coming up with the Trojan horse idea, which is a great idea.
yeah,
Um, People say, "Oh, yeah, he's the smartest of the generals," and all of this. We see a few things where he's kind of ethical. For example, plucking the bow. He's got
mm,
some sort of morality
yeah.
that's a little
He's got a
different
rough
from.
code of honor, but
Yes.
it's kind of it's clearly like weighing on him to stick to his code of honor because of the amount of bad things he's doing.
Yes.
Mm.
And is at this point where it's oh no, it's sorry, I was trying to think of one of the predictions, but I think it's actually from Cersei. Um then they go on to they find another island. I think they just move
Yeah,
along they just find another island and it
yeah. They go
looks
to
all
the next
right.
island because
And
they've
they
got some stuff. They were able to
that
get some
and
resources.
they're just walking through and they see what looks like a little girl with a weird helmet.
No, it's
Uh,
it's the same size as them. To be clear, it's
oh,
not
is
a little
it?
girl. It's
Oh,
with
I didn't get that from
the
perspective. I
features
thought
of a child, but it's the same size as
it was
them.
them. And is it goat herding or
Well,
shepherding or
it's
something?
kind of like running around laughing, and then they're
Yes,
like, "Hi there, we need some help," and it runs off screaming,
it
and
just
that's where the
screams.
Lystragonians stride out of the
Yeah,
mist.
just want to make a point. The bit where it was just running around laughing made me think of there's a section in Excalibur, a bit like that, where
Hmm.
it's Mordred as a boy just running around. I think he's got Percival trapped and he's just
Hmm.
giggling, and Percival's asking him questions. He's just laughing, something like that. Just remember. So I don't remember anything about the Lystragonians from the Odyssey. So
Yeah,
that's
so
part of
they
the Odyssey, is it?
so they basically in the myth it's I think it's 11 giants because they each get a ship of Odysseus's, and
Oh
Odysseus's
wow.
own boat is able to get away by not immediately running because
Yes.
the Lystragonians just chase them out into the ocean because
Yeah, now
they're
in the film they're
giants.
represented as about, I don't know, 12 foot tall with big
Yeah,
metal. They're in the poster, right? They're on the
yeah,
poster. Or
they're
one
on
of the
the
posters.
advertising because this is the big action sequence of the film, really, where the Lystragonians show up and start massacring
I mean,
the
it
soldiers.
properly fins down Odysseus. I mean, Odysseus got a number of boats until we
Yeah,
get to
he's got
this
3
point.
boats in this point.
Yeah,
But
but he had
when they
more,
get
didn't
there,
he? Or did he?
no, he only had
Oh, yeah,
3.
three.
But they
Okay.
were able to get them all away when they encountered the Cyclops, even though it chased them into the ocean.
Yes, because he
Uh,
couldn't see it. It was throwing rocks in the ocean. It's kind
yeah,
of
but
cool.
at this point, despite having what looked like hundreds of people running out and getting the boats ready, they were whittled down by the Lystragonians and the
Yeah.
Lystragonians just like flipped over their boats.
So in the myth, there's supposed to be 11, because I'm pretty sure there was more than 11 of these creatures on
Yeah,
screen. There was like loads of them. And there was no talking to them, was there? It was just run away.
yeah,
So Odysseus is now I think his crew are starting to feel like we're cursed, right?
yeah.
And then I can't remember if it's Athena or Circe. I think it's Athena. Says it to Odysseus, "They're all you're all the only one who's destined to get home again," or something
It's
like that.
so it comes up a bit later.
Okay,
But
okay,
yeah. So after this, they carry on along the coast because they've not got any option.
yeah,
They are
because
out of
his
resources.
lieutenant, whatever his name is sort of saying that's a really bad idea. We can't go anywhere. We need to we need to get provisions. We need to hug the coast, and they sail along, and then
So they spot a. Oh wait, no. I think there's a bit where they encounter a village. This may have, again, because of the way the story is told, where it alternates between Telemachus trying to look for stuff and Odysseus himself on the island of Calypso trying to remember. Some of it's kind of hard to put into order, but I do remember there is a bit where they go to a village and get resources, but the village burns itself down, saying, "Oh, sorry,
oh,
we
I
were
was a
worried
bit
about people."
confused because I saw the village on fire when they'd arrived, and I assumed they'd set alight with it. And then they were saying to them, "What? Why did you run?"
Okay,
And I thought,
yeah,
well, because you set alight to their village. But I must have
okay.
just misunderstood what I was seeing, right? Oh yeah,
Oh, that's how I interpreted it. They just cut to "Why did you run?" and the village is on fire. So
yeah.
I took it as they burned their village to try
Well,
and
it
run
seemed
away
like
from
a
them.
silly question. Why did you run if you were burning? I mean,
Yeah,
obviously they're hostile, and I think there's also a bit of chat about we thought you were the people from the sea,
yeah, we
as
get
well,
another
right?
bit of that.
Yeah,
But yeah, so they do establish, oh, the sea people are around here somewhere. But so looping back to where we were, at some point they did visit that village. They carry on along the coast and they spot a house
yeah.
on the top of a
Odysseus
mountain.
gets left behind for a bit. They said we don't think you should come, don't they?
Yeah,
Because
they staged like a gentle mutiny.
yeah, and he says, "Is this a mutiny?" And he says, "It's what you want it to be, or it
Yeah,
depends on you, or something like that."
yeah.
But they go ahead to the house, leaving Odysseus behind. But
And he goes off and hunts.
they meet this woman who's quite terrified, and they're saying, we won't hurt you. We just need some food."
Yeah,
It turns out this is Circe, the witch Circe, right?
yeah.
Um, um, so here now in the original myth, doesn't Circe hold Odysseus for a while, or am I?
Yeah, she holds him for a year.
Yeah, okay, all right. So this is Samantha Morton, but they assure her they mean no harm. They just need some
Mm,
food, and she happens to have loads of food cooking, right?
yeah,
So she starts to give it to them, and she starts to sort of be in a state of like joy, and it's a bit. There's something weird, and they're eating, but they're really stuffing their faces like they can't help it, right? Like they're
yeah.
possessed almost. Um, and
It's a
then
bit Spirited Away, which I'm realizing may well be a reference to the Odyssey as
yeah,
well.
it also made
So
me think of a bit of Willow.
yeah,
What happens to the men? So essentially, they start. You see a pig's ear growing one. I mean,
yeah,
that's also kind of Pinocchio-ish as well, right?
yeah. And this is where it gets. There's a lot of body horror here as the men slowly turn into
Turn into pigs.
pigs.
Some good effects, and
Yeah,
honestly, I was thinking that looks practical, but it's so good. There
yeah,
must be some CG there because when a trotter turns into a hand or vice versa, things like that. Um, and
practical.
eventually, they
It's
basically
practical. It's all practical.
wow, that was an amazing practical effect.
Yeah. They've
So
showed some behind the scenes stuff, and it looks kind of like the stuff they used on American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, so lots of not hydraulics.
Lots of
what's-
like pushing stuff through like
yeah,
silicon skin. I think it's silicon.
skins
I can't
and
remember.
inflation. Is it
Yeah,
hydraulics? Well, it's the pumping of
it's
liquids
something.
into
Yeah,
things to change things shapes, yeah, things like
yeah,
that. Anyway, they've all turned into pigs. So
yeah.
then Odysseus turns up because he's hungry and he says, "Has my men been here?" And I can't remember
Well,
what she
no,
says.
he hunts. He goes hunting while
Oh,
they
that's
stop.
right.
And
Yes,
like separately to this, as they walk up to the little hut, there's a lot of weirdly exotic animals just sitting there looking at
lions
them.
and tigers and
Yeah, leopards, that sort of thing.
leopards, and
But
there's a big
Odysseus goes and
black
hunts deer.
crow in a cage in there. And
Yeah,
yeah, sorry,
Odysseus goes
Odysseus.
hunts a deer. He does his little bow strumming thing to get it to run. But when he shoots it and goes to get the body, it's a person.
It's a person, so he knows
Yeah.
that something's well up. So he starts to run to the hut to
Mm.
warn them, perhaps. And then he he gets there, and
Basically
she's sort of trying
challenges
to
her.
entice her, but he doesn't do it in a nasty way. He kind of just talks her down, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Almost. Uh,
Then he grabs a crow, and that's
oh yeah, he
that's.
threatens to strangle the girl. We find out that's her. Is it her sister or daughter or
She
something?
says it's her sister,
Um,
but it's a lot of like he kind of whittles the information out of her. Really,
yes.
it's like this is someone important to you. It's like a sister. No, shakes her head. It's like a mother. Shakes her head. It's like, oh, come on. So,
Yeah. So she does change them back, but she also I can't remember if this is where he gets the warning that he's the
yeah,
only one
he
that's going to
says
make it.
she tells him that in order to get home, he needs to go and talk to the dead in Hades.
Yeah, he needs to go to Hades. So there. Oh yeah, that's where he gets the prediction, isn't it? So they go to Hades and
So
they're just walking along this blackened beach, and it's a bit foggy, and all these men arise, and is it a lot of his old men?
Yeah, it's a lot of shades of people that were at the
Yeah.
Trojan War.
Yeah, and
Uh,
he meets one shade who then says, "You'll be the only one to return home."
Yeah, so they're going there to speak to the shade of Tiresias, who is dead, who died a fair while before the
Okay.
Trojan War.
Yeah.
So they have to make a blood offering, and first the shades of Sinon shows up,
Yeah.
and then Agamemnon shows up, where he reveals that his wife killed him for the sacrifice of their daughter before the Trojan War.
Oh, yeah, it's grim, isn't it? The blood
Yeah.
sacrifice is going on. And Sinon also reproaches Odysseus
Yeah,
because Odysseus did not tell Sinon they were in the horse. They told
Yeah.
Sinon they were leaving. Somehow Sinon was asleep when they all got back in it. And Sinon says, honor me, tell my story and add a bit and things like that.
And then Agamemnon shows up, and then Tiresias is really spooky in this bit where he like kind of slowly pulls himself out of the ground, and he's got like cloths covering him. You can just see his mouth. That was
Yeah, it was
creepy.
quite. There's also one element we haven't really discussed about this whole thing. Robert Pattinson's character, Antinous,
Antonius. Yeah.
Antonius. Okay. He is like the most pushy of the what's it, but we find out that Odysseus recruited from his army, he did it by lots.
And
Antonius
I was pulled up a lot, and he convinced Sinon to take his place.
Now I was a bit unclear here because there was chatter about Odysseus told me to stay to look after his family.
He's
and
lying.
I wasn't sure if I wasn't clear. That wasn't clear to me. It was like, why does this guy does he resent him because he wouldn't take him? But so he was a coward.
No, he's just a coward who was lusting after Penelope.
Okay, so that whole taking Tynan that's where he finds out about Antonius is cowardice, right? This is the part Tynan tells him.
He made him
because Tynan was a boy when they went.
Sinon was a boy, so he was like a child, and then when he made him he made him go in his stead with the promise that he would basically give a reward to Sidon's father.
Right.
But Sidon's father is also there, which Sidon discusses, and he died in poverty.
Yeah.
So he is not particularly happy with Odysseus, given his responsibility.
And we also find out Agamemnon was betrayed by his wife and killed because of the sacrifice, as you said, right?
Yeah.
We also kind of find that out through Telemachus' story, right? Because he goes to visit.
Let's get to Telemachus' stuff.
Yeah, let's do that. We've been with Odysseus for a fair bit.
Again, it's very interwoven when you actually watch it.
Yes. So basically,
he goes to Sparta to try and find out.
Yeah, but he knows if he leaves Ithaca, someone among the suitors will probably kill him. Yeah. And indeed, when they find out he's gone there, don't they beat?
They beat up Eumaeus,
who's blind, an old blind man, and
they beat up and kill his dogs.
The old dog. They're horrible people. But then they send a crew to go kill Telemachus.
Yeah, but the guy looks weirdly like he looks strangely like the director of he looks like Quentin Tarantino. Like weirdly, the actor that plays the assassin. I was just like, what's Quentin Tarantino? No,
I didn't notice that. Okay,
yeah.
However, they kind of know where he's going to end up, a certain temple, right? They know he's going to end up a certain temple, so they head to that. So Telemachus goes to this, but he does encounter Menelaus. I'm trying to think of the order.
He goes to Menelaus first.
Yeah.
Because he's looking for information. The last known location of Odysseus was at Troy.
Yeah.
So he's going to someone who was at Troy.
Yeah.
And they initially go in secret, but they very quickly get outed by Menelaus, who recognizes him.
Yes. But welcomes him to his table, and he says, I can't tell you anything about because I haven't seen him since we won Troy. But he does tell him, what a great cleverest of the generals. He came up with the whole story, but everyone seems to know the whole story anyway, because the film actually starts with like a speaker at the feast of the suitors telling the story of Odysseus. About the horse, and everyone's like, don't talk about the horse. So there's this a lot of these threads they get teased to you, and you have to watch the film to figure out what they're about, and that's fine. But what isn't fine is the fact that the characterization for a lot of the characters is quite poor. You could have definitely improved that characterization and done the plot exposition with some better writing. So Telemachus is kind of
John Berenthal, who's Menelaus.
Yeah, we meet Helen of Troy, and there's some quite bad unfunny, let's put it that way, jokes through this. At one point, he's sitting with his wife Helen, who's side on. They're at a meal, and he says she's got a face to launch 1,000 ships. He goes, maybe only 500 now, and he pulls her face around, and she's got a big scar down one side of her face.
Yeah,
not funny.
No, but I don't think it was meant to be.
Was it not?
It's supposed to. From the way I interpreted it, is he's taking out his anger at the whole thing on her.
Yes,
slashed up her face.
Yes,
which is somewhat counter to the myth.
Yeah, I mean, her twin sister murdered her own husband.
Also
for good reasons, but Helen could well be capable of that. So he was.
Also she's like Zeus's daughter. So that would probably not work out well. But there's a bit weird because in the myth, he did go to the war out of love for her, and it's not really clear how much influence she had. Helen mythologically is weirdly like absent of character. Yes, she's just on her, right? Just someone to be kidnapped.
Yeah, I was considering after watching this film, I might watch the film Troy because I've never watched that, and that might be kind of fun.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, doesn't Tiresias also warn about, you're
Yeah,
gonna
looping
hit?
back to Odysseus,
Yes,
Tiresias
yes, yeah,
is like you are going to be the only survivor of
yeah, and he
this.
warns about the whirlpool Charybdis
Yeah,
and the
Charybdis
sirens
and
and
Scylla
Scylla.
and the Sirens.
Scylla. So so Odysseus, for some reason, choose to not share any with this with his men. I mean, he could share the stuff about the whirlpool and Scylla with his men, and he chooses not to.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh,
not
and
the rest of
they
them.
also says afterwards you're going to see the island of the sun god. Do not kill the cattle.
Yes,
Do not
he
feed the
does
cattle.
warn them of that. Anyway, they get back out to sea, and they
They encounter the
encounter
sirens.
well. First, they encounter the whirlpool, don't
No,
they?
it's the sirens
Oh, it's the
first.
sirens first. Now, Odysseus, they say no one can hear the sirens and not be drawn, and Odysseus is like,
Mm.
I want to hear it. So all the other men block up their ears with wax, and they tie Odysseus to the probably the most famous part of the Odyssey,
Yeah,
I think.
I'd say the Cyclops is fairly
Oh yeah, yeah.
stand out.
And they do that, and he's screaming his head off to be let out, and they all
Yeah.
doesn't one man actually take
Yeah, one man does take his
and swim towards
is it
them. And we see
yeah.
like all these beautiful things,
You
women,
don't you see silhouettes in the
silhouettes,
mist.
lying on rocks,
Mm.
making their calls.
It's not
Um,
quite clear whether how human they are,
yes,
but
indeed.
yeah.
It's kind of cool though.
Mm.
So then they have to go around basically he says Odysseus says what we got to do is get close to the whirlpool so it throws us out the other side. And they said, no, we could use this passageway. This is the
Mm.
bit, I mean, Odysseus is specifically told, do it this way because otherwise it'll be the whirlpool or Scylla. And he doesn't tell them at that point, but they are kind of rebellious. So I'm wondering, is it,
Yeah.
you'll learn
He's
somebody.
basically trying to keep the peace at this point.
Yes. So they do get Pan the Whirlpool, not under his orders. They
Yeah.
kind of skirt it, but then the Scylla, which is this giant, weird, amorphous, multi-headed thing, starts
Yeah.
picking men out off the top of the ship. But they just get away as quickly as possible. And I think
Yeah.
Odysseus's like lieutenant gets really, he says, "You
Yeah.
knew, didn't you? You knew." And then they encounter another island with cattle on the beach, and
Yeah.
this is
This
where
is the
Odysseus
sun
does
god.
warn them. He says, "This is the cattle of the sun god.
If you eat them,
You will die."
you'll die.
But then once and they say, "That'll be fine. We're just going to find some other provisions, and then we'll be off." However, the wind totally drops, so there's no getting. And whenever they try and row out, the tide
Mm.
pushes them back. They can't
Yeah.
seem to get off the island. So in the end, Odysseus is wondering where
He
everyone is. He
wakes
goes,
up in
well,
the middle of the night and
yeah, and
finds
everyone's
them eating a
feasting
cow.
in a hole in the ground. And saying, we didn't want to, we didn't want to let you know. And he goes, do you think the gods won't know?
Yeah. Do you think you can hide it from them?
So he knows they're all going to die.
I like how just like done with it he is at this point. It's like, well, you think you're gonna hide it from the gods? Come on, man. And just
Yes,
walks off. Like
yes.
he's not even mad. He's just like, okay,
I'm just
sure.
so done with it. He just wants to
Yeah.
be home. So this indicates to me we're only like a few weeks or something since the end of Troy at this point. But
Yeah.
the story kind of indicates this is all over 3 years because Calypso,
Yeah, it
where he
is.
ends up, says you've been here 7 years, right? So
Yeah.
given he's been away 20 years, 10 years of the war, and then he's away another
Yeah,
10
it
years.
doesn't quite add up in the
It
same way
doesn't.
it does in the
No,
myth.
no.
Because the myth has weirdly quite specific on the timeline of it.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, looping back to the myth itself, a lot of things in this song don't make sense for this Odysseus to do. Like, why the hell was he tying himself to the mast? Like, that's not a thing this Odysseus would really do. It's a thing that kind of cocky, hubristic Odysseus
This would
of the
do.
story would do,
Yeah.
but not really this
Well,
guy.
in the line of dialogue, why do you want to do that? And he goes, because I want to be the only one that's done it, right? This feels
Yeah,
like it doesn't. You're quite right. This is an experienced, hardened veteran who does
yeah,
not piss about, right? But
yeah,
he does here because I want to listen to the sirens, right?
yeah.
So there is a bit of
Kind of
that.
cuz. And
Um,
in the book, it is more sacrificial what he does to the guys to let Scylla eat the guys. Like
oh,
he
that
gets the
works better.
yeah, he gets them all to light a torch, and the ones that lit the torches get eaten.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
But I mean, they're trying to give this particular Odysseus like a fairly straight moral code. So because there's a point where he's clearly broken it, which
mm,
has caused this curse, right? So you have to kind of enforce that. So I kind of get
yeah,
that. So anyway, as soon as they have eaten this cattle, the tides change, the wind changes, so they can get off this island,
mm.
which is a trap. Poseidon then batters the hell out of the ship, smashes it all up. They all die. Get
The
drowned.
ship gets split in two, and
Yeah,
Odysseus washes up on the island of Calypso.
yeah. So Calypso, Charlize Theron, falls in love
Yeah,
with him, and he's got a broken body and sort of a broken mind. She feeds him
yeah,
lotus flowers to heal his mind, looks after his body, and then he can't stop eating the lotus flowers. She doesn't try and stop him. In fact, a few times there's bits where she says, "No more today," and then she lets him have some more. Uh,
yeah,
but he knows that there's someone waiting for him and he should be someone, but he can't
yeah.
remember. So she says,
He
let's,
can't even at the start of the film. He can't even remember what's happened to his crew. He's
nah,
just kind of picking up bits of driftwood and going like, "Where are they?
where are they? Yeah.
I had a crew. I know that much."
So then
So,
Odysseus makes a raft, and I think Calypso says you've got to give yourself to the sea. So he does just
mm,
go out on this tiny little raft that can barely float onto the sea and washes ashore of Ithaca.
mm,
And it's there he encounters Eumaeus. Now, I wasn't clear at what point Eumaeus realised it was him. I wasn't quite clear from the film if he knew it
mm.
from the beginning or I think it was when the dog reacted, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure.
that's when I think it was.
Yeah. I should have mentioned all this time. There's a lot of stuff going on with Penelope and the suitors, and there's a bit with
Mm,
Telemachus. Telemachus going, I should be king. You've got to, because she said, I don't want to marry. Because he comes back, right?
yeah,
And she's saying, I need to pick. And she gets really cross because he's saying, I should be king. He goes, so my 20 years of sitting on this throne count for nothing compared to the bristles on your chin,
mm,
is the way she puts it. And
Oh,
he hasn't got
mm,
much to say about that.
yeah,
So in the end, she declares, "Yes, I am going to pick a suitor. The one who meets my challenge, I will marry."
yeah,
And it's like
yeah,
first you've got to string that bow and then fire between those axes.
yeah,
Meanwhile, Odysseus does turn up with a thing over his, a cowed
yeah.
robe.
So this is the. So I've seen a lot of theories that the god stuff isn't real in this one. Like it's all in his head.
Yes, and
Like
there's
he's
a
just
and
hallucinating.
there's a reason for that because we do actually at some point during this see what happens to Troy, which is the men get
Yeah,
out of the halls.
and
But
we'll
so,
get to that when he has his weird confessional scene
yes.
at the
Oh,
end.
okay, okay, yeah,
But this is the point where the Athena hallucination gives him a cloak, and that cloak is real. So
yes,
I think it's probably fair to say that the gods have heavy influence in this one.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
Um,
yeah, so
yeah,
he goes
I
around,
have
he
to
hands
say,
her over.
just before we go, I have to say, I kind of missed seeing the gods in Olympus playing chess. I
Yeah,
missed all
yeah,
that. Yeah, yes. Yeah.
yeah.
So sorry. Go on. Go on. He had a cloak.
So he has the cloak, and that's where Eumaeus finds him.
Yes.
And he says that he's a veteran of the Trojan War.
And
Sinon.
he does.
He
Does he
uses Sinon's name
sign and
to
and he
disguise
also
himself.
says he's Odysseus is alive, doesn't he? He tells him
Yeah, he
Odysseus
tells them Odysseus is alive and on his way.
on his way.
So he goes up to the I can't remember the exact order because this is where it gets a bit confusing.
Oh yeah, because sorry, yeah, Telemachus is on it, going to
Telemachus
the
is back, but then
temple.
he's going to the temple, and Odysseus goes to the palace and then also to the temple.
Yeah, and the
And it's
assassins that have been sent slaughter all the priests and take their place, don't they?
yes.
and welcome.
And then they burn
so
down
you
the
got
temple.
to and say to Mentor and Telemachus, you got to leave your weapons outside. And they do that, and then when they go in, swords start to get drawn, but then Odysseus turns up and slaughters a lot of them.
Yeah.
Mentor gets his, though he unfortunately gets sworded.
Well, no, they give him the drinks.
Oh,
and
they poison him.
Telemachus doesn't drink, but Mentor does.
Yes.
And you poison him.
So then Odysseus kills all them.
Yeah.
And Telemachus is, who are you? And all this. But then
he gives him a fake name, but Telemachus very quickly figures out that it is Odysseus.
Yeah, again, was it when the dog reacted, or was that when you made it?
That had a specific scene, though.
Yeah, the dog recognized him, and Odysseus petted him, and then died. And this is a faithful dog, and all this.
And then Odysseus, in his disguise as Sinon, does go to the palace and gets cleaned. And he does say he has news of Odysseus, and he gives Penelope a lot of specific information.
There's a thing about him wearing a certain
like a little pin of Athena.
Athena,
and that's how she'll know him by.
She knows. So I wasn't not sure. Does Penelope really think Odysseus is arriving? Or does he she doesn't recognize he's Odysseus, does she?
No, she does not. But the nursemaid washing his feet does. And he very quickly is like, no, do not. And
she says, I'll just go and get some more water. But then for some reason she says, right, I'm going to say who I'm going to marry and all this. And there is dramatic scenes to indicate how much Penelope misses Odysseus. There's points where, for example, Telemachus, I think this is in the trailer even, says, what do you want? What do you want an end to all this? And she goes, I want Odysseus, is what she said. So is this where Antonius starts to talk to a beggar and all that.
And he get some of these beggars out of here.
And he says, I've got something for you, my lord. And he gives him the marker of the lot to join the army.
Yeah.
And Antonius is like, what's it?
Panicking.
He starts beating him. But then Telemachus gets involved and they draw swords on him. And Penelope's like, oh no, this is earlier. I've got it mixed up with some earlier stuff.
No, this is where that does happen.
And she declares, I will pick a suitor. And she also declares all the doors must be barred.
Yeah, until the trial is over.
Until the trial is over. So they're all locked in, right? Anyway, the men start to... They've got this challenge, and again,
they've got their heavy iron bow, which I think is Penelope's, dowry or something like that.
That is
a gift from the Spartans.
Yes.
Because Penelope is a Spartan.
Okay. So the men start queuing up. None of them can string it. It's a bit like Robin Hood. It's a bit like the myth of Robin Hood, where he does the archery contest, right? So he's trying, or even Excalibur drawing the sword from the stone, right?
Yeah. It's kind of funny because they're all stood up and are trying to string it, and no one can, of course. And then they let beggar Odysseus try, and he sits down and uses his weight to do it.
Yeah, he's smart. He uses the smart way of doing it because he can't do it first. Then they're all like, and they're all laughing.
And then he lifts it up and strums it once. And that's I think everyone. That's why the music kind of stops and everyone's kind of like, oh no, that's Odysseus.
Odysseus.
And I think the first person to point out is, wait, you're Odysseus, and he immediately gets an arrow in the throat.
Yeah, yeah. So it effectively turns into one of the scenes from Old Boy at this point. He's fighting with 100 men in a little room. And there's no... Oh, one of the things they did is remove all the weapons, isn't it?
Yes.
They removed
all the weapons and armor.
The only thing in the room that could be his weaponry is the bow and arrows that Odysseus have and the axes that are tied up that he has to shoot through to complete the challenge.
Which he does
as
well.
But the two axes are in pairs and they're tied together at the heads, so they're quite hard to use.
Stop them. So he just
Yeah.
picks them up and like starts hitting
So
people with them.
with that, meanwhile, we see some of the betraying servants sort of helping.
Yeah,
But this is when Mia Goth is the handmaiden of Penelope. I can't
yeah,
remember her name. Well, I don't know her name from this.
yeah. I don't think she
But
gets
she's
specifically
also
named.
kissy with Antonius, who wants to
What?
marry Penelope. Wants to become the
Yeah,
king of Ithaca. Really.
yeah. She's been seduced by Antonius.
Yeah. And she's about to run in with Penelope, who says, "No, go with yours," or something like that, and shuts the
Yeah.
gate on her. So
In the
she's
original thing, they do string up a bunch of treacherous
yeah.
servants.
And another servant goes up to the place where all the weapons are and goes into the room, but Telemachus,
Yeah, Telemachus does
no,
chase him in,
no, hold
and
on. Eumaeus locks him in, so he can't get out of the armory, so he can't come
yeah,
out with the weapons. So, but what he then does is start chopping a hole through the floor to drop weapons through. And at
mm,
that point, Telemachus goes up and starts fighting him. So there's a big
yeah,
fight there
yeah. And this
going
was
on.
good, and this fight was really good up until it hit like a cycle of things.
Yeah,
It would be Telemachus is fighting the guy. Telemachus gets knocked over. The guy chucks down swords, let's say, in this
yeah,
instance.
yeah.
You see the swords drop. Antonius, Robert Pattinson goes, "Get the swords! Get the swords!"
Yeah, he does nothing. He's just
And then
shouting
hides
at
behind
people.
the thing.
He's just
Bunch of guys
hiding.
pick up swords. Odysseus fights them and kills them,
Yeah,
and then loop that with a different thing. So
yeah.
it just does that like 4 times in a row. That exact sequence.
Yes, yeah. Well, it got a bit wearing. They could have
Yeah.
thrown it up a bit. But it is kind of funny to see Odysseus on his own fighting all these blokes and like them all taking their turns to fight him, and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, but a lot of them just bow, don't they? They're just
Yeah.
get on their knees,
By the end of
cover their
it,
heads.
he takes specific time to like murder Antonius brutally. Like
Yes,
he puts the lot in his mouth and then stabs him in the stomach
yes,
after like dropping him.
yes.
But yeah, then
Oh,
everyone starts bowing.
it should be mentioned right before this fight and during it, he does say to Telemachus, "You cannot harm your guests. That will be breaking Zeus's law, and you will be exiled as king."
Mm,
He specifically makes that point over and over.
yeah,
And there's also a point that comes back dramatically. It's repriced dramatically just before he goes to war. Penelope says, "Can't we just run away?" And he goes, "What, go into the west, leave everything behind us?" And we see images of that, like he's tempted by it, right? We see images of a ship going towards the sun and things like that. And he says, "No, can't do that." Just got to mention that because it does come back at the end, right?
yeah,
So Telemachus cannot kill any of these men directly. He can kill servants and slaves,
yeah,
right? But he can't get involved in the fight. But Odysseus doesn't care.
yeah. He doesn't need to.
So he starts laying waste. It's pretty awesome. And in the end, he triumphs. But he says, I have to leave to Penelope. And she says, "What? You have to leave?" He goes, "Exile."
Yeah,
But then he smiles, and she's going with him.
Yeah.
And he has to give his what's it for the dead, sort of pay homage to the dead by sailing
Yeah.
into the west, as he's been told, and that's what
Yeah.
they do. And eventually Penelope and Odysseus sail off with a crew into the west, leaving the Telemachus as king.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
I hadn't thought of
that's-
this at the time, but I did read a post afterwards saying there's a lot of superheroes in this movie, aren't there?
Yeah.
There's a Batman, there's a Spider-Man, there's a Catwoman, there's
Yeah.
one Spider-Man, one Spider.
yeah.
It made me laugh. Yeah. So that was it. That's kind of it, right? Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. Some people love this film though. They're
Yeah.
saying this is the best film since Lawrence of Arabia and things like that. It's like, well, hold on. It was pretty good, but I'm not sure about that. But I think you liked it more than I did.
Yeah,
I
I'd
liked
still-
it reasonably.
Like to get ahead to the actual rating, I'd easily give this a 9.
Okay, I'm more like a 7.
Okay.
That's for me. I think there was a lot of. I had a lot of. There was little things. Narratively, there was. I mean, how characters were significantly underdeveloped.
Mm.
I should mention we. Sorry, I skipped over something there. We when during the siege of Troy, where they're destroying
Oh
everything.
yes, yeah.
They do actually attack Athena's temple, and to my mind, it's like if you're attacking a temple, you don't have to kill sheep and eat cattle. That's going to
Mhm.
bring the wrath of the gods, isn't it? But we
Yeah,
do see a
that's
handmaid of Athena, who is Zendaya, getting beheaded as
yeah.
Odysseus is wandering around looking in horror, looking at the beauty of Troy just being sacked by
Mm.
what appears to be savages. He's, the army is in,
Yeah.
and and
Well, that's
basically
that's the thing they go over. Like this whole thing is because they violated Zeus's
Zeus's
law.
law
It's
by
because they
having
they
a
left a
fake
gift
tribute. Yeah,
fake tributes, and the entire way has just been him being a terrible guest to
yeah,
the various peoples. Even though they're doing horrible things to him, he is still being a bad guest. So
yeah. And
that
I wasn't sure this was entirely clear, but I assume that when there was these references to the people from the sea, the
yes,
people from the sea was him
yeah.
and his
Which
all this
sort of
army.
like I get it, but that also they were being warned about the people from the sea at the start of the very start of the film. In chronological events, they were being warned about it just after they'd left Troy. So how could they be the people from the sea
That don't
at
make
that
sense
point?
to me. But yeah, and if you
But
watch
I
it again,
guess
it
it was
might
like the
be.
whole
Yeah,
yeah, I guess it's just them breaking Zeus's law in such a dramatic way has
right.
kind of
They've
shook
changed.
everything.
Basically, he thinks he's changed the nature of man and gods. Right,
Yeah.
the relationship between man and gods. That's what he thinks he's done, which is why he feels he's perhaps cursed, or he has
Mm.
been cursed. So yeah. I enjoyed it well enough. I'm glad I went to see it at the cinema. Wasn't so
Mm.
happy about the noise. It was so, I mean, ridiculously uncomfortably loud, which I kind of get.
Mm.
However, it was, I think if you laid this out chronologically, it'd be entirely coherent. I think, but because you have to, it's a bit Inception in that respect, in that you have to think through stuff. And I think a rewatch might actually improve it for me. Do you know
Okay.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of know. Oh, okay. I understand this reference that was cryptic at the beginning, in the first few scenes now, and things like that. But yeah, I quite enjoyed it. But it was a gritty Jason and the Argonauts for me,
Okay. Yeah.
pretty much. It wasn't a master or even close for me. But you clearly
Yeah.
liked it way more
I
than me.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you're glad you went to sit at the cinema.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Unfortunately, I was kind of off to the side just because how long my legs are. I need to sit in an aisle, so I
yeah.
had to sit off to the side. So everything was kind of a bit skewed, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I splurged out and went and got one of them VIP seats, which is why I was in the middle in a really good seat, and why I was
Mm,
shocked how loud it was, because it was like,
yeah,
bloody hell, the people near those speakers must be like deafened.
yeah,
But yes, yeah. I had no other issues with the film.
yeah,
Certainly didn't care about anything about the casting, as has been a massive shitstorm
yeah. I
in
don't know
certain
why people took it like I mean, okay,
personal
you're gonna
insult almost, right?
yeah they like you're gonna have any sort of controversy when whoever you cast the most beautiful person in history as.
Yeah.
Someone's going to have to object to it on that ground. But just having a problem because they're black, no, that's
That's
stupid.
stupid. I mean, this
And
all
then
goes back. Historical
they
stuff famously has stupid commentary. I mean, not as stupid as this, but
yeah,
when they go back to the '60s Phil Roman sort of sword and sandals things, but they got American accents, but they weren't speaking English then either.
yeah,
So what are you talking?
they had that here as well. Like someone's like, oh, the Greeks didn't use words like mum or dad, and it's like they're not speaking Greek. Like they all have American accents. Even the English
Yes,
actors have American accents in this one.
yes, yes.
And then for some reason, people were saying that Elliot Page played Achilles,
What?
which
Well,
no,
he
like
wasn't.
no,
So what?
his
Okay.
his character fulfills a role that Achilles does in the story, Like he's the shit. Achilles is one of the shades, like not the only one of the shades that
Yeah.
Odysseus sees. But he sees a lot of shades. He sees his parents, and that's all cut.
And indeed, a lot of the shades chase them out of Hades, don't they?
Yeah, in this, the shades like fucking run them out. They do not want them there.
Right, I'll tell you what, let's have a bit of fun here. Christopher Nolan movies, right? I'll read out a list of them and we'll try and. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of these, so I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to place those. But this is the list of all the movies he's done, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to ask you is, where would you place the Odyssey in this list?
Gotta
Right?
be frank, looking at this, I've only seen the Batman films and this.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
So
that's going to
I'm
be a
probably not a
pointless
great
list.
judge on this.
How would you rate this? All right. Let's say, would we agree The Dark Knight is his best Batman film? Would you agree with that? Okay.
I'd also
would you say
that
this is
better than The Dark Knight. So,
Would you? I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't. I also think Dunkirk, which is one of the ones I've seen, is a little better than this. Actually, I do think that. I haven't seen some of his big ones. You know, like I haven't seen Oppenheimer, which is meant to be brilliant. I haven't seen Tenet, so I can't. I haven't seen Interstellar. In fact, now I'm looking at this. I've seen Batman, I've seen The Prestige, I've seen Dunkirk, and I've seen this. So yeah, maybe this was a
maybe
bad
we
idea. Okay,
I do think it's quite admirable. It looks like he's put out a film every 3 years since 2014.
yes. So
that's
would you
kinda
say, as far as you're concerned, this is his best film?
Yeah, of the ones I've seen, yes.
Yes. I would still put Dark Knight first and probably Dunkirk second for me. But Dunkirk was really, again, a slightly weird timeline that confused a lot of people. He loves playing with time. Inception was where it all started, I think. No, actually, what am I saying? Memento is where it all started. Of course he did. Because that is mad on timeline stuff. So, yeah. Okay.
I did see a very funny thing of like just how many times are we going to try and get Matt Damon home? And it was just this Saving Private Ryan, The Martian.
You could even argue Dogma, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, there's no argument. He's definitely trying to get back, but it's back to heaven, but it's still home for him. So yes, that's a really funny point.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's wait on. Quite enjoyable. Enjoyed talking about this one. All right then. So bye from me.
Bye.